Maybe you have heard a very famous sentence before. You are what you eat. It means the food you eat every day becomes your body. If you eat healthy food, your body feels strong. If you eat too much unhealthy food, your body feels tired. And I believe this is also true for our mind. You are what you repeat. Not just what you do one time, but what you do again and again and again. Because your mind is always learning from repetition. Let's think about something simple. If every day you tell yourself, I am not good enough, even if it is just a small thought, after many days your mind starts to believe it. But if every day you choose to say, I am trying, and I am growing, slowly something changes inside you. Let's see it another way. If every day you whisper to yourself, I'll do it later, just a small delay, just one more time. But days pass, and slowly, without noticing, you become someone who stays stuck. But if every day you choose something tiny, I'll start now. Just a little is enough. One small step, again and again, and quietly you become someone who moves forward. But before we talk about psychology, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed something strange? There are days when everything just feels off. You wake up already a little tired, a little negative, and somehow the whole day follows that feeling. Small things go wrong. People seem more difficult. You make more mistakes than usual. And at the end of the day, you might say, today was just unlucky. Or maybe you've had this experience. There is something you keep thinking about again and again for many days. A worry, a fear, a situation you imagine in your head. You replay it, you picture it, you feel it before it even happens. And then one day, it actually happens, almost exactly the way you imagined. In that moment, it feels strange, like life is somehow listening to your thoughts, like your thoughts are becoming real. But maybe it's not something magical. Maybe it's something much simpler. Because when you keep repeating the same thought, your mind starts to believe it. And when your mind believes something, it changes how you act without you even noticing. You become more tense, more careful, more reactive. You focus more on what could go wrong and less on what could go right. So slowly your behavior changes, and your behavior shapes your experience. So what feels like bad luck is often just a pattern repeated long enough. And what feels like things happening exactly as you imagined is often your mind guiding your actions in that direction. Maybe nothing is random. Maybe there is always a reason. And maybe that reason begins with what you repeat inside your mind every single day. In psychology, there is a very important idea. Your brain changes based on what you repeat. This is called neuroplasticity. But what does that really mean? Imagine your brain like a small path in a forest. The first time you walk through it, it is hard. There are trees, bushes, obstacles. It feels uncomfortable. But if you walk the same path again and again, the path becomes clearer, easier to walk, more natural. Your brain works the same way. Every time you repeat something, a thought, a feeling, or an action, you are walking a path in your brain. If you often think, I am not good enough, you are walking that path. At first, it feels like just a small thought, but after many times, it becomes automatic. You don't even question it anymore. But if you often choose to act, even in a small way, I'll try, I'll start. You are building a different path. And slowly, that becomes your new normal. So your brain is not fixed. It is always changing based on what you repeat. And the more you repeat something, the easier it becomes for your brain to follow that path again. And this is why you don't need to change everything at once. Because your brain is not looking for big changes. It is looking for patterns. What you repeat today, even if it feels small, is quietly becoming your future. If every day you choose just one better thought, one small action, one gentle response, you are already changing the path. It may not feel different right away. You may still feel the same doubts, the same habits, but something deeper is shifting. A new path is being formed. And one day, without realizing it, you will respond differently, think differently, live differently. Not because you forced yourself, but because you repeated something new long enough for it to become who you are. Many people hear advice like stay positive or think better thoughts, and it sounds nice but not very real. Because deep down you know that just thinking something good doesn't magically change your life, and you're right. Positive thinking is not magic, but it is not meaningless either. What most people don't see is this. You are already repeating thoughts every day. Not once but hundreds of times. And those thoughts quietly shape how you see yourself, how you see the world, and what you believe is possible. If the thoughts you repeat are, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, I might fail, then even before you act, something inside you becomes smaller. You hesitate, you avoid, you stop earlier than you could. And over time your life begins to reflect those patterns. Not because the universe is listening, but because you are. But when you begin to repeat something different, not perfect, not fake, just a little more supportive. I can try. I can learn. I can improve. Something subtle begins to change. You don't become confident overnight, but you stay a little longer, you try one more time. You don't give up as quickly. And that is the part most people miss. It's not the thought itself that changes your life. It's what the thought allows you to do again and again. So when people say stay positive, they are not asking you to lie to yourself. They are asking you to choose what you practice inside your mind. Because the thoughts you repeat shape the actions you take, and the actions you repeat shape the life you live. So this is not about being positive all the time. It's about becoming aware of what you are repeating every day. Maybe it was never about one big decision or changing your whole life at once. Because your life is already being shaped right now by small things repeated quietly over time. A thought you keep believing, a habit you keep allowing, a reaction you never question. And slowly, without noticing, they become you, not suddenly but silently. And the most dangerous part is, it feels normal. It feels like this is just who I am. But maybe it's not who you are, it's just what you've been repeating. As Aristotle once said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. So before you try to become someone new, pause for a moment and ask yourself one simple question. What am I practicing every single day without realizing it? Because in the end, your life quietly follows whatever you keep practicing inside your mind every single day. If you could meet yourself 5 years from now, what would you want to say? Would you say, thank you for trying, even when it was hard? Or would you quietly say, "I'm sorry. I knew you had so much potential, but I kept waiting, doubting, and wasting it." In this episode, I want to share how we can do more than just know we have potential. I believe that we can truly touch it, train it, and turn it into real ability in our daily life. Your potential is not just hidden inside you. It is built by what you choose, practice, and repeat every day. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Mia. Think of me as a gentle friend walking beside you on this journey, here to help you understand yourself a little better, one step at a time. So take a deep breath. Maybe this is the moment to stop waiting for the perfect time. Maybe this is the moment to ask yourself, what am I doing today with the potential I already have? Let's begin. When I was a student, I used to be a good student in the eyes of other people. I worked hard for good grades, certificates, and achievements. I followed what society called success because I was afraid of falling behind. But deep inside, I was trying to fit myself into a life that did not really feel like mine. Later, when I started to look honestly at myself, things began to change. I started to see my true values, my real strengths, and what I truly wanted. It felt like finding a compass in the middle of a foggy ocean. I realized that I did not need to run faster on someone else's path. I only needed to walk in the right direction on my own path. After that, I still worked hard, but it felt different. It felt lighter and freer because I knew why I was doing it. To live with your highest potential, you first need to understand yourself. If you do not know who you are, what you are good at, what you want, and what truly matters to you, you may spend your life following other people's expectations. Society may tell you that success means a good job, more money, being busy, and always moving forward. Your family may expect you to choose the safe path. Social media may make you feel that your life should look like someone else's life. But not every path that looks successful is right for you. Some goals may look beautiful from the outside, but when you live them, they may make you feel tired, lost, or far away from yourself. That is why self-awareness is so important. When you understand yourself, you know what to follow, what to let go of, and which path truly fits you. You stop working hard just to please the world, and you start building a life that feels honest, meaningful, and truly yours. Some people look like natural leaders. They speak with confidence, plan well, and know how to guide others. But deep inside, they may not enjoy always making decisions or carrying the whole team. Maybe they feel more alive when they can write, design, create ideas, or build something in their own way. Some people choose a stable job because it feels safe. From the outside, their life looks fine, but inside they feel something is missing. They want to teach, write, start a small project, do business, or create something useful instead of repeating the same work every day. Some people try to be more outgoing because they think success means being seen and heard. But their real strength may not be talking the most. It may be listening well, watching carefully, understanding people, or making others feel safe when they talk. That is why self-awareness matters. It does not mean thinking about yourself all day. It means looking at yourself honestly. What are you good at? What gives you energy? What do you care about? What makes you proud? What feels wrong to you? If unfairness makes you upset, maybe fairness is important to you. If helping someone understand something makes you proud, maybe teaching is important to you. If finishing a hard thing makes you feel strong, maybe discipline and growth matter to you. If connecting people makes you happy, maybe connection is one of your values. These values are like a compass inside you. When you make a big choice, You do not only ask, "Can this make money?" or "Will people like this?" You also ask, "Is this right for me?" Because your potential often begins where you already have a natural strength, not where you have to force yourself the most. Potential does not always begin by trying to fix every weakness. Very often, it begins when you notice your natural strengths. What can you do quite easily, while other people may find it hard? What kind of work gives you more energy after you do it? What skill, if you practice it more, can help you create more value? When you find these strengths, you begin to see where your potential can grow. A strength is a place where you already have a small advantage. It may be something you naturally do better than others. Or it may be something that makes you feel interested, curious, and excited to learn more. Of course, this does not mean we should ignore all our weaknesses. Some weaknesses still need to be improved, especially if they affect our work, our life, or our relationships. But if we only focus on our weaknesses, we can easily feel tired and lose confidence. We may become a person who makes fewer mistakes, but not a person who truly shines. A better way to grow is to manage your weaknesses, but invest more in your strengths. If you are good at writing, do not see it as just a normal skill. Practice writing more deeply. Learn how to tell better stories. Learn how to explain your ideas clearly. Use your words to touch other people. If you are good at speaking with people, turn it into a skill. You can learn to give better presentations, lead meetings, teach, sell, or build a community. If you are good at seeing how things connect, use that strength to understand problems more clearly, organize work better, solve bigger problems, or help a team work better. If you are good at caring about other people's feelings, turn it into communication, advising, customer care, leadership, coaching, or creating content that makes people feel understood. Your natural strengths are like good soil. When you plant practice, discipline, and real experience in that soil, your potential can grow much faster. You do not only become better, you also feel that you are growing in a way that is true to who you are. Imagine you walk into a very big bookstore. You want to learn design. You want to be good at English. You want to understand psychology. You want to learn cooking, money, business, and many other things. Every book looks useful, so you buy all of them. Every day, you read a little from each book. At first, you feel that you're growing. But after 1 year, you realize something. You know a little about many things, but you are not really good at any one thing. Our time is like a bookshelf with limited space. You cannot put everything on it at the same time. If you want to learn everything, do everything, and follow everything, your life can become messy. You may be very busy, but you may not move far. You may have many ideas, but not enough focus to turn one idea into a real ability. Human potential can be very big, but our time is always limited. So the important question is not only, who can I become? The better question is, what should I focus on right now, so I can live closer to my best self? To live with your highest potential, you do not need to do many things at the same time. You need to choose what truly matters and live with it with discipline. Because potential does not grow only because we dream about it. It needs clarity, focus, and small actions repeated every day. Clarity helps you know where you are going. Focus helps you stop wasting energy on things that do not really matter. And repeated action helps you turn something inside you into a real ability in the outside world. Many people do not fail because they have no potential. They fail because they divide their life into too many small and unimportant things. They want to change, but every day they are pulled away by social media, delay, fear, comparison, and many things that do not bring them closer to the person they want to become. So living with your highest potential does not mean living in a hurry. It means living with awareness. Awareness to know where your time is going.
Awareness to choose a few things that are truly worth your energy.
Awareness to say no to things that feel good now, but make you weaker later. And awareness to begin, even when you do not feel completely ready. Because in a limited life, the saddest thing is not that we cannot do everything. The saddest thing is that we have so much potential, but we never have enough courage and discipline to truly live it. One day, I watched a video about how to make pizza at home. The person in the video made it look so easy. They spread the dough, added the sauce, put cheese on top, and placed it in the oven. Everything looked simple and perfect. So I thought, I can do this. But when I tried it myself, things were very different. The dough was too sticky. The sauce was too much. The cheese did not melt the way I expected. And when I took the pizza out of the oven, the edge was a little burned. But the middle was still too soft. At that moment, I understood something simple. Watching someone make pizza is not the same as making pizza yourself. What I watched online was only information. But touching the dough, feeling the heat, making mistakes, and learning how to fix them, that was real practice. And our potential is the same. It does not grow just because we read a lot, watch a lot, or think we understand. It grows when we step into real life and try. You can read many books about communication, but only in a difficult conversation will you know if you can stay calm and speak clearly. You can watch many videos about discipline, but only on tired days will you know if you can still keep your promise to yourself. Real life is like a mirror. It shows what we can truly do, not just what we think we can do. So real practice helps us grow. It also keeps us humble. It brings us back to one honest question. Where am I right now? And what do I need to practice next? And when we step into real life, we learn one more thing. Life does not always follow the lesson we learned. In a video, everything can look clean and easy. The food is ready. The light is beautiful. The person knows exactly what to do. But in real life, the dough can be too sticky, the oven can be too hot, and the pizza may not turn out the way we hoped. Life is the same. We can plan carefully. We can think we understand everything. We can believe that if we follow the right recipe, we will get the right result. But real life always brings surprises. A job can change. A plan can fail. A relationship can break. A new chance can appear. A season can come when we have to start again. And in those moments, the most important thing is not only what we know, it is how well we can adapt. Real ability is not only doing well when life is easy. Real ability is staying calm when things change, and finding a new way when the old way no longer works. If the fire is too strong, we lower the fire. If the food does not taste right, we change the flavor. If the old road does not work anymore, we learn to take a new road. Living with your potential does not mean your path will always be smooth. It means you learn to grow with life. Not to lose yourself, but to become more flexible, stronger, and wiser. Because potential is not fixed. It is more like a seed. It needs time, challenge, and change to grow. If we only stay with what is familiar, we may feel safe, but we may also stay small. We repeat the same skills, the same thoughts, and the same choices. We may be okay, but we may not be growing. Change asks us to look at ourselves again. What else can I learn? What old thing do I need to let go of? What new skill do I need to build? A person who cannot adapt may get stuck in an old version of themselves. But a person who can adapt does not only ask,
why is life changing?
They ask, what kind of person is this change asking me to become?
Adapting does not mean leaving your old self behind. Sometimes, it means finding a new way to let your old strengths grow and reach more people. For example, maybe you are good at listening. Maybe your friends often come to you when they need to talk. Maybe you are the person who can sit quietly with someone, understand their feelings, and make them feel less alone. That is not just talking. That is a real strength. It is the ability to connect, care, and understand people. In the past, you may have used this strength only in private conversations. But today, that same strength can grow in many new ways. You can write gentle posts about emotions and life. You can make short videos, podcasts, or newsletters to comfort people. You can become a mentor, a coach, or a kind guide for someone who needs support. You can also bring this empathy into your work by communicating better, understanding people more, and creating a space where others feel safe and heard. So, let me ask you, what is one strength you already have, but maybe you have not taken seriously? What do people often thank you for? And how can you use that gift in a new way? Because the form may change, but your value is still there. You are still the person who knows how to observe, feel, listen, and connect. You are simply learning a new way to bring that value into the world. So living with your potential is not only about becoming someone new. It is also about letting the best parts of you grow with life, instead of staying hidden in an old version of yourself. And I truly hope that after this episode, you will look at yourself with more kindness. I hope you stop seeing your quiet strengths as something small. I hope you give your gifts a real chance to grow. And step by step, I hope you become brave enough to live closer to the person you were always meant to be.
What if some of the things you're holding on to were never really you? Not your thoughts, not your fears, not even the voice in your head that keeps telling you who you are. And yet, you've been carrying them for so long that they started to feel like your identity. If your mind feels heavy, or something inside you feels stuck, this moment is for you. Because today, we're not going to fix anything, and we're not going to try to become someone new. We're going to do something softer, something deeper. We're going to let go of what was never really you in the first place. Most of the time, we don't even see what we are carrying in our mind. We wake up, we pick up our phone, and our thinking starts right away. What do I need to do today? Am I doing enough? What if I fall behind? These thoughts come so quickly that we think they are normal. But slowly, something happens. Our mind becomes full. Not with big problems, but with many small worries, small pressure, small doubts. And the problem is, they don't help, but they don't leave either. I used to feel like this a lot. Even on days when nothing was wrong, I still felt tired. Not physically, but mentally, like my mind never really rested. And I didn't understand why. Until one day, I asked myself a very simple question. What am I thinking about all the time? And the answer surprised me. I was almost never thinking about now. I was thinking about the past. Things I should have done better. Things I wish I could change. Or I was thinking about the future. What might go wrong? What I need to fix? What I'm afraid of? And I realized something important. My body was here, but my mind was not. And this is one of the fastest ways to lose your peace. Because when your mind lives in the past, you feel regret. When your mind lives in the future, you feel anxiety. And when you stay in both for too long, It slowly becomes a habit like a quiet virus. You don't see it. You don't notice it at first, but it spreads. It takes your attention away from the present. It uses your energy. It makes simple moments feel heavy. And the worst part is, you start to believe this is normal. That it's normal to always worry, normal to always think ahead, normal to never fully rest. But it's not. Your mind was not designed to carry yesterday and tomorrow at the same time. That's why you feel tired, even when nothing is wrong. Some thoughts feel like they are yours, but they are not. And the difficult part is, they sound very real and very personal. The voice that says, you are not good enough. The feeling that you always need to do more. The quiet fear that people are judging you. These thoughts don't feel like something you learned. They feel like the truth. So you listen to them, and over time you start to believe them. But most of the time, these thoughts didn't start with you. You picked them up slowly, from school where you were compared, from social media where everyone seems ahead, from people around you who are also carrying their own fears. And without noticing, these thoughts become part of your daily thinking. I used to believe them too. I thought if I worked harder, pushed more, and improved faster, I would finally feel enough. But no matter how much I did, that feeling never stayed. Because the problem was not my effort. It was the belief behind it. And this is where many people get stuck. We believe every thought in our mind is true. We think every uncomfortable feeling means something is wrong with us. We think if we feel behind, then we must be behind. But often that is not reality. It is just a pattern. A repeated way of thinking that your mind got used to. Sometimes your mind is trying to protect you, trying to keep you safe, but it does it by creating fear, pressure, and doubt. The thought, I am not good enough, feels very personal. But if you look closely, it is actually very general. It could belong to anyone. It usually comes from something you heard before, maybe many times, not from who you truly are now. The thought, I need to do more, sounds like motivation, but often it comes from fear, not from clarity. And the fear of being judged feels strong, but in reality, most people are too busy thinking about themselves to watch you that closely. But when you don't question these thoughts, you start to live inside them. You follow them. You make choices based on them. And slowly they become heavy. Not because they are true, but because you never stop to ask a very simple question. Is this really me? And maybe that is the beginning. Not fighting your thoughts, not forcing yourself to change, but just noticing that not every voice in your mind belongs to you. Imagine your room. When everything is messy, you feel tired. Even if you just woke up. Clothes everywhere. Things you don't use but still keep. Some are from the past. Some you keep just in case. And slowly the room starts to feel heavy. Not because the room is small, but because there is too much inside it. Your mind is the same. Old thoughts, old worries, memories you keep replaying. Things that already happened, but you still carry them. And at the same time, worries about the future. What if this goes wrong? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? So your mind is full, not just with now, but with yesterday and tomorrow. And when your mind is like that, it becomes very hard to be here. You can't fully enjoy a quiet moment. You can't feel peace, even when nothing is wrong. Because your attention is not in the present. It is either stuck in the past or running into the future. And that's why you feel tired, even when you are doing nothing. Letting go is not cleaning the whole room in one day, because that would only make you more stressed. Letting go is something much softer. It is just picking up one thing and putting it away. Maybe today you choose one thought, I should have done better, and you gently say, that moment is over. Then maybe another, what if I fail tomorrow? And you say, tomorrow is not here yet. You don't fight the thoughts. You don't push them away. You just stop holding them, one by one. And something very small begins to change. Your room feels a little more open. Your mind feels a little more quiet. And for the first time, you can actually feel this moment. The light, the silence, your breath, not yesterday, not tomorrow, just now, and maybe that's where peace was all along. Many people think growth means adding more habits, more discipline, more effort. Always trying to become better, faster, stronger. But sometimes, real growth is the opposite. It is removing pressure, removing thoughts that are not yours, removing the need to always be better. Because when you slowly remove what is not you, something very quiet appears. Space. And in that space, you can finally breathe, think clearly, and feel what is real. So tonight, before you sleep, try something simple. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath. And ask yourself, what am I still holding right now? Not everything. Just one thing. One thought from the past. One worry about the future. And gently put it down. You don't need to solve it. You don't need to fix it. Just stop holding it for a moment. And notice what happens. Your mind becomes a little quieter. Your body feels a little lighter. And for a brief moment, nothing is missing. Nothing is urgent. Nothing is wrong. Just this moment as it is. And maybe growth was never about becoming more. Maybe it was always about learning what to let go. We often believe that a calm mind is something we have to achieve. We try to control our thoughts, fix them, replace them, improve them. But thoughts don't work like that. Thoughts are more like weather. They come and go. Some days are clear, some days are cloudy. You don't control the sky. But you don't have to chase every cloud either. A calm mind is not a mind without thoughts. It's a mind that doesn't believe every thought it hears. You can have a thought that says, I'm not good enough, or I'm behind, or I need to do more. But a thought is just a sentence in your head. It feels real, but it's not always true. And the moment you stop treating every thought like a fact, something shifts. A small space appears. That space is calm. You didn't earn it. You simply stopped disturbing it. Now think about your body. We've been taught that health comes from effort. More discipline, more training, stricter routines. Push harder. Try harder. And to be fair, this is not completely wrong. Because without effort, nothing really changes. If you never move your body, never pay attention to what you eat, never build any routine, health will not magically appear. So yes, effort matters. Discipline matters. Action matters. But here's where it becomes interesting. If effort alone was the answer, then everyone who pushes hard would be healthy. And that's not what we see. We see people who train intensely but get injured, People who follow strict diets but feel exhausted. People who stay disciplined for a while and then burn out.
So the problem is not effort itself, but how we use effort.
There are two kinds of effort. One comes from pressure. I have to fix myself. I'm not enough yet. I need to push harder.
This kind of effort can work, but only for a short time because it is driven by tension, and tension cannot last forever. The other kind of effort comes from care.
I want to take care of my body. I want to feel better. I want to support myself.
This effort looks softer, but it lasts much longer. So maybe your body doesn't need extreme effort all the time, but it also doesn't mean doing nothing.
It needs something in between.
It needs consistency, it needs sleep, it needs simple food, it needs movement.
Not punishment. A healthy body is not something you achieve once and keep forever.
It's something you support every day, not perfectly, but steadily.
Like a plant, you don't ignore it, but you also don't pull it to make it grow faster. You water it, you give it light, and you come back again and again. Health works the same way. It grows when effort becomes sustainable, when discipline becomes gentle, and when taking care of yourself no longer feels like a fight.
And then there is something even more delicate. Not your body this time,
but your relationships, your home. Many people believe that love comes from finding the right person,
the right partner, the right environment, the right situation.
And again, this is not completely wrong.
The right person matters. The right environment matters.
But if that were enough, then every perfect match would last forever. And that's not what we see. Even when people find the right person, things can still fall apart. Because love is not something you find once and keep forever. It's something you create every day. In how you listen, in how you speak, in how you react when things are not easy.
A home does not feel warm because it is beautiful. It feels warm because of how people treat each other inside it. And just like your body,
it's not about one big effort.
It's about small things,
repeated over time.
And this is where everything becomes clear.
These things, calm, health,
love, are not things you can buy. But they are also not things you need to fight to earn.
They are the natural result of how you live. There is a quiet paradox in life. The more you try to get something, the more you feel like you don't have it. The more you chase calm, the more restless you become. The more you chase happiness, the more you notice what's missing.
And I didn't understand this before.
I used to think I just needed to try harder, to fix myself,
to become better, faster, stronger. But the more I pushed,
the more tired I felt.
Because deep down when you chase something, you are telling yourself, I don't have it yet. And that feeling
quietly grows.
But something changed for me when I stopped asking, how do I get this? And started asking, how am I living right now? And that question is softer, but also more honest. Because maybe you don't need to add more. Maybe you need to remove what is unnecessary. The extra pressure,
the constant comparison,
the habit of believing every thought, the need to push yourself all the time.
A calm mind appears when you stop following every thought. A healthy body appears when you treat your body with steady care, not extreme force.
A loving home appears when you choose kindness, patience, and understanding.
In small daily moments.
And here is something I wish someone told me earlier. You are not starting from zero.
You have already felt calm before. You have already had days when your body felt light. You have already experienced real connection. These things are not far away. They are just covered by noise, by habits, by the way we rush through life. So maybe you don't need to rebuild your whole life. Maybe you just need to slow down enough to see what is already there. You don't need to become a perfect version of yourself. You just need to sleep a little earlier, move a little more gently, speak a little more softly, and stop believing every thought that passes through your mind. Small things, repeated quietly, really do change everything. And maybe the sentence we started with can be understood in a different way. The most important things in life cannot be bought, and they don't need to be earned through struggle. They come from the way you live each day. So take a breath. Really take one. You don't need to rush. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to live a little differently. And if you stay with that gently long enough, you might realize something very surprising. What you've been looking for was never really missing. It was just waiting for you to slow down and notice it. Today was a very normal day for me. I woke up, made a cup of coffee, sat down at my desk, ready to work. I told myself, okay, let's do something good today. But then I just sat there, looking at my screen, thinking, trying to start, and nothing came. No ideas, no direction, just a very quiet, empty feeling. I tried to push myself a little more. Maybe I just need to focus. Maybe I should try harder. But the more I tried, the more stuck I felt. So I stopped for a moment. I leaned back, took a deep breath, and just sat there in silence. And I realized, this feeling is not new. Maybe you felt it too. That moment when you want to create something, but your mind just doesn't move, and slowly it starts to feel frustrating. You begin to question yourself. Why can't I think of anything? Did I lose my creativity? But maybe it's not that we don't have ideas. Maybe we just don't understand what's really happening inside us. So in this episode, I want to talk about that quiet moment when creativity feels blocked and how we can gently find our way back again. And after going through that, I started to notice something. Maybe the problem is not that we don't have ideas, but the way we are trying to force them. Let's talk about that. If your work needs creativity, like writing, marketing, art, design, teaching, or content creation, you may know this feeling very well. You sit down, open your laptop, and tell yourself, okay, let's create something. But then, nothing comes. The screen is empty, and your mind feels empty too. In those moments, we often try to force ourselves to be creative. We push harder, we expect too much from ourselves. Sometimes more than what we can handle right now. And that pressure only makes things heavier. You try to think harder, you wait for an idea to appear, but the more you try, the more quiet your mind becomes. And slowly, a small doubt starts to grow inside you. Why can't I think of anything? Did I lose my creativity? Was I ever really good? Or just lucky before? If you've ever felt this way, I want you to pause for a moment. Because what you're experiencing is more common than you think. There are moments when you still want to create, you still care, but nothing seems to move inside your mind. You may sit there for a long time, starting, stopping, trying again, but everything feels a bit heavy, a bit forced, like you've lost your natural flow. And that can feel frustrating, even confusing, because you know you can create. You've done it before, but right now, you just can't reach it. This experience actually has a name. It's called a creative block. But here is something very important to understand. It does not mean you have no ideas, and it does not mean you've lost your creativity. Most of the time, it simply means your mind is too full, too tired, or under too much pressure. And because of that, your natural flow becomes quiet. So in this episode, we are not going to force ideas to come. Instead, we're going to understand what is really happening inside your mind and gently bring your creativity back. Not by pushing harder, but by creating space. If we slow down and look a little deeper, we can start to understand this better. A creative block is usually not about having no ideas. It is about what is happening inside your mind. Sometimes you think too much. You want everything to be good from the start, so you keep planning and fixing in your head. And in the end, you don't begin at all. Sometimes your mind is too full. You watch, listen, and read so many things, but you don't give yourself time to process them. So there is no space for new ideas to come. Sometimes it's fear. You don't allow yourself to make something simple or imperfect, and that quiet pressure slowly blocks your creativity. And sometimes you feel a little lost. You're not sure what you really want to say anymore, or you try to be like someone else. So your ideas don't feel natural. They don't feel like you. And when all of these things come together, your mind becomes crowded. A bit heavy, a bit disconnected. But there are also some common misunderstandings about creativity that make this even harder. Many people think creativity means having big, perfect ideas right away. But real creativity often starts small, simple, and even messy. Some people believe you need to feel inspired first. But most of the time, inspiration comes after you begin, not before. And sometimes we think we have to be original all the time. But in reality, it's okay to learn from others and slowly find your own voice. So the problem is not that you don't have ideas. It's that your mind is too crowded, too pressured, or a bit disconnected. And because of that, your creative flow becomes quiet. So if your creative flow becomes quiet, it doesn't mean it's gone. It may just mean you've lost connection to it for a while. This reminds me of a very quiet moment in the movie Kiki's Delivery Service. Kiki is a young witch who once could fly freely. But one day she tries to fly. And she simply can't. No matter how hard she tries, nothing happens. That moment feels very similar to a creative block because it's not that she never had the ability, it's that she cannot access it anymore. She becomes confused and a little scared because something that once felt so natural now feels impossible. And the more she worries, the harder it becomes. If you think about it, this is exactly what happens to us. There are moments when you used to write easily, speak clearly, create freely. But suddenly everything feels heavy. You sit there trying to force it, but the more you push, the further it goes away. Not because your ability is gone, but because your mind is too tense, too tight to let it flow. In the story, Kiki doesn't lose her magic forever. She loses her connection to it. And that is a very important difference. In our lives, we don't really lose creativity. We lose the state that allows creativity to appear. When we are too stressed, too afraid, or trying too hard to control the result, we disconnect from that natural flow inside us. Later, Kiki meets a painter, someone who also understands what it means to create. And the painter tells her something very simple but very honest. When I can't paint, I stop. I go for a walk, I look at the scenery, I rest, and when I'm ready, I start again. It sounds simple, but it carries a deep truth. Creativity is not something you can force. It is something you return to. I remember when I first heard this. It changed the way I looked at being stuck. Before, I thought I needed to try harder, be more disciplined, push myself more. But that only made me feel more tired and more disconnected. And slowly, I started to understand. Maybe the problem was not that I wasn't doing enough. Maybe I was not giving myself enough space to feel, to rest, to reconnect. So now, when I feel stuck, I don't panic as much as before. I see it as a signal, not a failure. A signal that something inside me needs space, needs quiet, needs kindness. And just like Kiki, I trust that the ability is still there. It hasn't disappeared. It's just waiting for the moment I come back to myself a little more gently. And maybe if you are feeling stuck right now, you are not losing your creativity either. You are just a little disconnected from it. And that means you can always find your way back. So, if creative block is not the enemy, then how do we move through it? The answer is not to force ideas to come, but to gently bring your flow back from the inside. There is a simple reason for this. Your brain has two main modes. One is when you try hard, focus, and analyze. The other is when you relax, and your mind starts to connect ideas naturally. Most creative ideas don't come when you're forcing them. They come when your mind is calm. Like when you are walking, showering, or doing nothing. That's why slowing down can actually help you think better. So first, stop trying to create something good, and start creating something real. Instead of asking, is this good enough? Try asking, what am I truly thinking right now? And just write it down simply and honestly, without editing. You can write messy journal lines, draw random shapes. It doesn't have to make sense. When you remove the need to be right, your mind feels free to explore, and that's where creativity begins. Authenticity is one of the most powerful sources of creativity because it comes from something real inside you. Second, reduce the noise and create space. When your mind is too full, like a cup filled to the top, nothing new can enter. If you feel empty or stuck, maybe it's not because you lack ideas. Maybe you've been consuming the same kind of information for too long. So try to change it. If you often read about psychology, try reading about architecture. If you usually watch business content, try a nature documentary. When different ideas meet each other, new perspectives appear, and also, give your mind real quiet moments. Try walking without music, watering your plants, or simply looking at the sky for 5 minutes. These small pauses help your brain move into a more relaxed state, where ideas begin to connect naturally. Third, don't wait for inspiration. Ask better questions. Ideas don't come from nowhere. They come from attention. You can ask yourself simple questions like, what am I struggling with lately? Or, what do I really want to say? Or even, if no one is judging me, What would I want to create right now? Very often, the answer is already inside you. You just need to listen. Fourth, allow yourself to create something imperfect. The pressure to make something valuable right away is one of the biggest blocks. So give yourself permission to make something bad. Tell yourself, this is just my first version. When you remove pressure, action becomes easier. And when action feels safe, creativity starts to move again. Fifth, come back to your body. Take a slow walk, breathe deeply, stretch a little. Because creativity is not only in your mind, it is also in your state. When your body relaxes, your thoughts become lighter too. And maybe you can remember this simple image. Creativity is like breathing. There is a time to breathe in, to learn, to observe, to absorb. And there is a time to breathe out, to create, to express, to share. If you are finding it hard to breathe out right now, maybe this is your moment to slow down, to breathe in deeply, and allow yourself to rest. And finally, start small. Don't wait to create something big. Just write a few lines, record 1 minute, or note down 3 simple ideas. Flow doesn't begin with big action. It begins with small movement. And maybe the most important thing to remember is this: creative block is not here to stop you. It is simply a signal that your mind needs space, your body needs rest, and you need to return gently to yourself. I truly hope that from today, you will be a little more gentle with your creativity and a little more patient with yourself. And I hope you will keep finding small moments of inspiration, not just sometimes, but in your everyday life. And if you feel like you need a quiet place to come back to, you can explore more episodes in this playlist. I've made them for moments just like this. When you feel a bit lost, a bit tired, or simply need a gentle reminder, I'll always be here with you on this journey of understanding yourself, growing slowly, and creating in your own way.